Hello again, boys and girls. I got a VOD review for you today, and I chose this one in particular not because I did particularly good or particularly bad, but mostly because it shows off a mistake that is team-wide in its nature. More so than one guy messing up or even just a few guys messing up. A whole team can make this sort of mistake, and I always strive to make sure my teams never do something like this. And I hope you in the future do as well, because as you're going to see or by the end of this game, it's going to be a huge problem for the enemy team, and it's not going to end. It's not going to be pretty. So I'm going to do a play-by-play up until that point. I'll make sure to bring it up when it comes up. So this was a Blizzard World game. This was a low Masters game. You can see the range up there. I was low Masters. This is the account that I grind on less, but since I was unjustly suspended from my other account for absolutely nothing, I'm stuck playing on this one. So you got to do what you got to do. Whatever, it's neither here nor there at this point. I'm just going to keep going on this account till I receive justice. So anyway, I play Kiriko, same as always, no surprises here. Those bans that I did aren't in anything special. They're the ones that I usually go with. Freya is still really powerful right now, and she somehow hasn't gotten any changes that I'm aware of. But yeah, she remains extremely powerful. Doom and Ball are just my own personal preference because Ball is just the natural enemy of Kiriko, since a good Ball is almost impossible to headshot. And Doom is just Doom. So yeah, no special explanation there needed. Those are just my personal preferences. If you play Kiriko and have other preferences on bans, that's up to you. Those are just mine. So I'm going to start here in my favorite hiding spot ever. I always like to hide here in case someone goes right past the choke. I like getting assassinations there. Usually people are up there in the corner. I can teleport to them easily. That's usually what I prefer to do. But over here, Genji gets picked off somehow. I don't know how many people were up in that corner. I see Winston, he's low, and yep. If you heard that earlier, I tried to Suzu, but I cut it way too close, and Suzu's cast time takes forever, even if you're just aiming at the ground. So that was on me. I screwed that up, but I really don't know how that Genji died so early, considering it was basically a 4v2 at the very most. But whatever, we screwed this up, and I contributed thereafter. So over here, we're just trying to hold this point so they don't try to encroach on us out in the StarCraft area. I'm just keeping Winston alive right now. Not anything special. Doing kunai spam along common paths that people like to take. I see the Moira, she's low health. I help out with people over here. Had I been by myself, I might not have taken that duel, but I might have egoed her. I probably would have egoed her, let me just be honest there. I see the Genji over there, or excuse me, Tracer, and I try to help her. I'm still in the back right now because this is still the middle of the team fight, so trying to rotate to the back to get an assassination, not the smartest move right now. So now the team fight ends. Now I'm trying to rotate to the back and try and get an assassination, but I see the Tracer. I try to duel her, but I miss everything. And I back off. That doesn't really work out. I really didn't know what I was doing there. That was a really bad engagement on all our parts, but mine most of all, since I think I initiated that the worst of anybody. Over here I'm just doing kunai spam to make people back off a little bit so they don't try to take more space. I stand right over here in cover because I'm not trying to get railed by that Soj. I almost do it, but I was pretty confident that she couldn't have taken me out.
Oh, come on, Genji, you couldn't have gotten her.
I was really angry that Genji couldn't have slashed her at the end there because her health was really low. The Winston over here with half HP jumping in was very obviously trying to primal, so I goaded him into it. Right here, he shoves the Ana into a corner.
Why did you tuck yourself away?
Yep. I don't know if that Ana just panicked, but I really wish she had just stayed in the open. We could have healed each other.
If the Winston did that, knowing the map geometry, he is a pretty smart guy.
Yeah. I was talking about that little column right there that's tucked away over there on Blizzard World. I think if the Winston purposely pushed the Ana into that, he's not that bad at juggling. Over here, I'm just in the back, just trying to keep people up. Once again, this is the middle of the team fight, so rotating would be a bad idea. This Kitsune right here was only because I wanted to react to the enemy Kitsune rush, and that's it. I didn't really have any reason to hang on to it otherwise, so I just used it. We do ultimately end up getting value from it. I'm glad my team came in on it, so there's a bonus there. We do cleanup, or my team does cleanup, I just heal them. I try to get into a good position here. Maybe I'll get an assassination, maybe I'll just distract them. Right here, maybe there's an easy assassination I can get. I'm way out of the effective range, but I still managed to kill her with spam, so you're welcome, my enemy team. You're welcome, you're welcome, my team. I go up here trying to help people. The team fight, this is the middle of the team fight. I don't want to go any farther up. I'm worried about getting caught out in the open, so I'm just staying back here. I don't know what Genji was thinking there.
Oh no!
I'm trying to fight off this Tracer.
You missed!
Right there, she missed. She went over my shoulder. I think her tracking my abilities was such a good idea. That was pretty smart of her to do that. Unfortunately, she sucks at sticking.
That was pretty smart of her to track me.
Yeah. If you're a Tracer, please, pretty please, for crying out loud, practice your sticks. Practice your sticks. Like, I think maybe like 75% of Tracers that are like Diamond or Masters, they'd be top 500 right away if they practice sticking. That is such an underrated skill. I've mentioned it before that you need to practice that. It is so imperative that you practice sticking as Tracer. It is like a must-learn skill. But yeah, my reservations about Tracer aside, over here I'm not really doing much of anything. I knew they were going to move in with a bunch of ults at this time, so I'm just trying to keep everybody up, just backing off, not trying to expend any of my resources.
Anna, that was a really good...
I'm not really sure where that Moira went. I remember thinking she would go to the Mike Morheim room, but I have no idea. Over here I use Kitsune because there's not really any point in holding on to it. Although I eventually realized that it wasn't really worthwhile to use it here. I probably should have cut it closer since there's only 1 minute left in the team fight. I try to duel this Reaper, but
Yay, okay.
I really wanted him dead, so even if I died, I'm just glad that he was taken off.
Bro, pick something! Genji, that is a sloppy blade. That's gonna cost us.
More than one of us screwed up our ults here, which is why we ultimately end up losing this team fight. So I wasn't very happy about that. There's not much I can do over here since I was the only one to die, and I didn't have time to go and save that Winston. Teleporting in there to try and save him would have been stupid. I would have just been dying earlier than I would have otherwise. Maybe we could have salvaged it if either DPS got an assassination, but they're not that guy, so we're not going to do that. Over here, the enemy team is just expending all their ults to make sure they get the point. That's the thing you should be doing, by the way, almost always. If you're near the end of a point, just dump ults. There's no sense in sitting on them. And dying before you use them will more often than not cost you. So over here, I'm just in the back. I'm not going to leap into action and try to save anybody. If they back off, great. If not, we just reset. Over here, I'm just spamming kunais down the choke. Not really any point in doing anything else. Trying to rotate over here to get an assassination will just leave my DPS out in the open, and I don't want to do that. So I'm staying in the back here. Kunais and healing, whatever. I try to make the angle wide, and when they finally collapse in on me, I back off. Now over here, I clear this wall to try and escape because I knew everyone else was done for. And I hide back here because I know no one else is coming back from spawn from the enemy. And right before they're about to cap, and right before my team engages, I make the other team look at me right over here. And the one thing that this team should have done, especially these two supports right over here, the one thing they definitely shouldn't have done was both rush in on me and try to chase me. There was no reason not to. There was definitely not enough manpower over here for them to keep them up. If they had quickly collapsed in and killed me with this reduced HP, they definitely would have been able to clear up everybody else. It was just cleanup, because you're about to see right here, I am about to turn the tide of this battle. See, just distracting them, not leaping in. But now, using my ult, and the Winston's ult, and Genji's ult, we're able to collapse in on them.
They are so gonna live to regret that.
Yep.
Oh my lord. Not chasing me is gonna be the biggest mistake they make this game.
Yep. By the way, I apologize if my audio is echoey. I couldn't get it to behave this particular stream. But yeah. Had the Moira, at least just the Moira, come and chased me, they probably would have been able to get more value. If nothing else, that Moira would have been able to get me down to pretty low HP, such that when I teleport in, I wouldn't have been able to use my Kitsune in time. So with this newfound motivation, I thought to myself, I have to try hard. I have to make sure that they regret that. It's so important that they regret doing that. So yeah, I didn't have any particular strategy going into this next one. Just Kiriko as always. No one else really had, as far as I know, no one else had a different approach. No one's been saying a word. This is another really good example of comms not being the most important thing in this game, as much as a lot of coaches like to tell you. Ranked especially, you can succeed without saying a single word to anyone. I'm not saying that comms are never useful, but I think their usefulness is way overrated. Like, way overrated. In ranked, not organized Overwatch. That's a different story. So I'm going to go to the left and try to see, just to make sure, if anyone's trying to be in my favorite spot for assassinations, to at least catch them out, if not kill them outright. Nobody's here. I go in, poke in that general direction, try to distract the people on top into shooting me. But Genji's way too eager and ends up dying.
Bro, wait for Winston. Why do you think I didn't go in?
I really don't know what that Genji was thinking. He probably didn't think anyone was going to catch him out, but they did. I had really split priorities right there, and Winston was worn out faster, and I got caught out. In retrospect, I should have just backed out completely. There was no saving that after Winston died. Of course, he's going to switch off. I'm guessing he judged that diving into that would have been a bad idea. Knowing that there was no one there waiting, I decided to just go down main, just to distract Orisa, to make sure people could rotate. I wanted over here to hold this spot. I was hoping Tracer would help me take out the enemy Tracer, but apparently that wasn't their plan. I don't know if there was more people around the corner that I couldn't see, but that was not our fate that day. I went to the Ana to go and help her, and I wanted to hold this spot, but I couldn't, of course, so I had to back off to the next room. I couldn't leap in and save anyone without giving away my location, but I did find this low health Reaper and killed him. So now we were both stuck in the back. I couldn't go in to save the Zarya. Bad idea right there. Genji and I gave away our location, so now we are stuck in the back. Yep. There was no saving this.
Man, I was so tempted to ult there. To be like, let's go, let's fight our way out, but there was no chance. That Genji is nowhere close to good enough to do that.
Yeah.
Time to try again.
Maybe if he had Blade, I would have considered it for another millisecond. But other than that, no chance.
Yeah. Don't try to be cool like that. I did the right thing there. So anyway, going down main, not doing anything particularly special right now. Not trying to rotate. I wanted everyone's help. Especially with this Kitsune, I really wanted everyone to benefit from it. I, of course, fail in dueling that Moira, but I succeed in dueling that Tracer, so that's good. Everything's clean up at this point. Just trying to catch any stragglers. And we cap.
I accidentally went over my DPI switcher.
Now over here, I didn't want to go forward that much. If I had run into Moira, they probably would have been together and I would have just gotten caught out. Also, Zarya didn't have super high energy, so going too far forward would have just been a waste. I'm here on the left, on the right, because I wanted to distract them from the high ground. If Zarya could hold it, would be in a really good spot. She uses her ult, although I really wish she had just waited for Orisa to use her Fortify. If she had just forced out Fortify, we would have been in a much better spot.
Smarter than the average Orisa.
But that's neither here nor there. The only reason I teleported in there is because I really wanted in on killing people in that grab. In retrospect, it really wasn't worthwhile. I probably should have just swift stepped behind the Zarya instead of in front, instead of
Really?
at
You
her.
gave up already?
Over here, I'm just taking the right side once again because I want to off angle. I want the team's attention, the enemy team's attention, to be split.
What the?
I split their attention for just a little bit, and the Moira dies because of it. Once again, there's
Bro, this guy. If this guy got any good at sticking, he'd be the greatest tracer of all time.
I might have been exaggerating there, but I
That's
cannot
the one thing
cannot
that's not
exaggerate the
working for him.
importance of sticking people. It's so important. If you can get good at sticking people, that is like guaranteed assassinations left and right. Especially with that guy's ability to ability track me, that would have been so good. But anyway, I stay on the payload because there's not really any sense in trying to catch people out in open space. The Winston and Genji are doing a good job at that. I built up my Kitsune, but I don't really need it now. Right now they're expending ults, so I just used my ult. I gotta dump it because we're about to catch it. We're about to cap, sorry.
Wow, everyone is here. I have no one to teleport to.
Right now I'm just moving erratically on the point,
Hey!
contesting
get outta
it,
here.
while at the same
Persistent.
time trying to kill people.
Yeah, persist that.
It was very important there that I stay on point at all costs. I really, really, really wanted that team, the enemy team, to panic about capping. Right there, if you just have point pressure, you can pretty much force the enemy team to play super erratically. Now over here, since it's way, way, way at the start, I'm gonna go to the far edge. I can afford to rotate now because it's still the beginning of the team fight. I forced the Ana to expend both her abilities along with Winston. I was really hoping he'd be able to kill her, but the Moira was pocketing her, so it wasn't as feasible. Also, not the greatest priority to juggle the Moira, who can fade. Probably should have got cut off the Ana. But that's neither here nor there at this point. I couldn't help him there because
If
he
he was any good at
leapt
juggling,
off.
we would have gotten it.
I probably should have disengaged
Why?
and gone back to the front
What is
line.
it with both these guys and not knowing how to use their ults?
In fairness to me, I probably should have stayed with the front line there as soon as the Ana expended her abilities, because those guys weren't going to get any value, those guys on the enemy team. So we go in. I knew the Orisa right here was going to use her ult. I'm a bit smarter with my Suzu at that time, but we still lose. If we could force out more ults, I would have been happy about that, but they didn't have any more critical ults, so I didn't really
Use
care.
it quick.
I figured with the death of the Tracer, I think the Orbital Ray right here would have been useful to use, but that's neither here nor there. Also, I catch out the Ana because I noticed that she's really low. No one was pushing the payload, so I had to push it.
Gave you a Suzu.
However, I did try to help as much as I could. Nothing particularly profound over here. And once again, they need to scramble to point.
So good.
And with that,
Biggest mistake they ever made.
I couldn't... Truer words were never said. Right there. Let that be a lesson to everyone. You never, 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 never want to leave someone who can easily be chased to just be left alone. Don't do it. Especially if it's me. Bye now.